Hey traders, welcome back to today's market update. Today we're going to be taking a look at the currency market, seeing what's going on in terms of technical analysis. Let's go ahead and dive right into it. You can see Euro USD actually breaking underneath this level that we've been watching. So we've been watching this kind of trend line here to the upside, and just recently we saw a price break underneath. We confirmed it, we held it for a moment, but then sellers took over. It looks like we could see the continuation of this downward push. One idea there might be would be if we see a retracement, there might be the idea to kind of combine the 200 period SMA, which is this pink line here, with that broken trend line level. A retest there might actually be a nice little sell side area. At least due to my own analysis, I think that we could see some more likely selling in that area than buying. And one other thing to consider is, again, this level here also looks pretty interesting as a support zone. So we could look for something like this. So if price decides to retrace, there might be the idea to look for sells in this area, maybe even down to this supportive zone if we look left. At the end of the day, again, make your own trading decisions, but that is kind of what my analysis is showing me. It's the idea that we could get a retest there, and there might be a nice little trade setup to the downside there on the retest. Pound dollar, let's take a look at this one. You can see this one's really clean right now. We actually have some very kind of textbook movements here on this market. So you have this downward kind of channel, right, where price is making those lower lows, lower highs, and pushing overall to the downside. But then this is kind of cool because we have this shift in market environment. So again, we have the downtrend here, but then we shift into kind of this sideways range. And this is where things get interesting because we no longer are forming those lower lows or those lower highs, right? We kind of have this range where things are just kind of even between buyers and sellers. Well, we look like we wanted to continue that range for a little bit, but then what did we get? Well, we got some strong bullish strength pushing above that current level. Now this is the 4-hour chart, so we still have time on this candle, but if this candle decides to close bullish, right, if we close like this above that level, to me that would be considered a very bullish indicator that pound pairs might be on the move to the upside, and then we could see some continuation up towards some major levels such as the one here right around that 1.3169 level. We also have the recent high, of course, here at 1.3265, let's say, right? So these are some major levels on the pound. I think that we are still bullish here, especially since we are breaking so strongly above this level. We do have kind of this area right here where we had that high kind of get tagged and find resistance. So we'll see if price can break above that level and kind of hold that. But I think we have some stops to make if we do continue maybe here and here along that bullish rally. But it does look very strong. Again, the kind of shift in market sentiment or market environment here, as we've been talking about on the market update, is kind of cool because we've seen this market shift from that strong downtrend to that side ranging, and now looks like it wants to move bullish to the upside. One more minor level to consider here for you guys is this level here. We kind of do have a nice little trend line there to watch for potential pullbacks if you're looking to get involved with pound dollar. Personally, I like the idea of this kind of trend line here to the upside. Let's move on to the next currency pair, which is dollar yen. Here you can see dollar yen basically looking kind of interesting because we are pulling back towards that area that we've talked about where we had previous resistance here, right? We may be headed back down to find support in that same area. There might be some trade setups there looking for the continuation, depending on your own analysis, but I think that there might be the idea that we see dollar yen continue to the bullish side. Gold is an interesting pair right now. You can see we are trending very nicely overall to the upside, but it looks like price is getting a little bit kind of consolidated here back and forth. And if we take it down to let's take it to the 4-hour chart. We've been talking about, and let's go ahead and take these indicators here off. We've been talking about kind of this back and forth that we've seen on gold recently, and what you notice is that price is just kind of tagging the up and bottom, right, the top and bottom, and we did get a little bit of a fake out. We had price jump up and close above, but then quickly fade back in. Sometimes that's going to happen, and so now the default, in my opinion, would just be to continue in this range for now. We'll see if price can continue to respect these areas, or if we're going to break out, there might be some trade setups, either long or short, right? So if we break short, we could look for the short continuation play and long on the continuation. So here and here might be some pullback levels that would be interesting to me on gold. Let's take a look here at Brent crude. Looks like Brent crude might actually want to hold and break below this trend line that we've been watching. So we have this kind of support, right? multi-level kind of, or multiple times we tagged that support and held it. Now it looks like price may want to break bearish, so we'll see if that can get a break to the downside, and if so, could we see some continuation, maybe even down towards some of these major levels, like this one right here, right? Kind of catches your eye. You have some support here and you have some resistance here. We also, of course, could go for the low there, right? So if we see bearishness really continue here on oil, right, we could make our way down to something like that longer term level at the 57.19 level. WTI crude, pretty much the same thing. Potentially the bearishness of this break could be kind of making a move back down towards some of these structures to retest or kind of pull back in this upward movement that we've seen. Euro yen still looking interesting. You can see on the daily chart here, we've been watching this trend line. You can see price looks like it may want to come back to retest that trend line. And if so, my bias there would be bullish still. We do have kind of this upward market for now on the daily chart that looks pretty good. And finally, let's take a look at pound Aussie. We are holding this level beautifully. So if you remember from some of the market updates, we've been talking about the bullishness here on this trend line, and we were bullish here at this trend line. You can see we're actually very nicely up on this trade. You know, I'm personally in this trade and things are looking very nicely for this one. So we'll see if we can get the continuation. So kind of the first stop right now that we've made on this pair, which is awesome, is this level right here, right? We already tagged that level, and now the question will be, can we get up to some of these recent highs? My answer would probably be there's a good chance that we make a movement up to that point in the next week or two. So we'll see what happens there on pound Aussie. Guys, thank you very much for watching. I do hope you got something out of today's video, and we'll see you back next time.